Hello my friends and welcome back to Holistic Living Down Under. Today I'm going to take you along with me for a full kitchen tour. But first, let's go back and have a look at where it all began. Welcome to my kitchen. So this is what we ended up with. We are so happy with everything that we've got. We've got an enormous, nice big island bench, which is where I do all my cooking videos for you guys. And we have plenty of storage space. I love my bench tops. They are Caesar stone and they are gorgeous. So let's get started now. This is our little coffee station. I don't really drink coffee, but my husband does and my oldest son as well, so they get to enjoy. I actually love this coffee maker though. It is really sturdy and we got this milk frother with it, which is fantastic, and the kids actually use it for hot chocolates. Now let's have a little look in my drawers. So in this top drawer here I keep a little stash of tea. I do have another tea cupboard that I will show you later on, but this is just my overflow, as well as a couple of little bits and pieces for the coffee. I also got my little silicone lids in here that I use often instead of plastic wrap and cling wrap on my leftovers and stuff. You've seen them a couple of times I think in a few videos, and I did have some questions about it, so I thought I'd show you guys. They're really handy and they are dishwasher safe and microwave safe and everything, so they are a great way to reduce waste. Now this is where I keep my baking paper, my foil. I do have some glad wrap because sometimes I have odd shaped things that need a bit of things. And I got these compostable bags, which are really good as well. Next drawer down is my plastics cupboard, so where I keep all my containers and stuff for storing things, food leftovers, school lunch boxes and those sort of things. Can I just say it is so handy to have this in a drawer and instead of a cupboard. My cupboard used to look a mess. The next drawer down is where I store most of my cake tins and a few other baking bits and pieces. I also got a couple of appliances there as well, with my waffle iron there in the corner, as well as a spiralizer. So let's have a look at what I've got in here. So underneath here you'll see I got my square cake tins. So I got a few different shapes and sizes for that. Like a lot of this I use a lot when I was doing cake decorating. I don't use this a lot anymore, but they are really handy sizes to have. I've got my round ones as well, so that's where they live. I also got a few other bits and pieces. There's a Dolly Varden tin over there. There was this bundt cake tin as well that I got. We actually got it with our caravan and I've never used it. And down the bottom here I've got the giant cupcake tin, as well as my gingerbread molds for gingerbread houses as well. And that was that drawer. Now up the top here we got our medicines and vitamins and stuff. I won't open that because there could be names and stuff on there, so I'll leave that alone. There is my glassware and my matching cups, so I keep all of that in there. It makes it look a little bit pretty, and my little teacups in there. My youngest son loves my teacups and he loves pretending to drink tea out of them. So they have to be a little bit out of reach, but he does love it when he gets to have a little play. And let's have a look at what I keep on my kitchen bench. So just to the right hand side here, I have my cooking book stand. I keep whatever book I'm using the most at the moment. Then over here to the side, I've got a couple of chopping boards. You would have seen one of them is the one I use a lot for my pictures, and the other ones is more for chopping. Then I've got my little toaster to the side there as well. And then I keep my knives just to the side there as well. You can actually see here that we aren't 100% finished. There's just a couple of little finishes left around our benches and around our splashback that we just need to fix it, as well. So, but that's a quick and easy thing to do, so hopefully we'll be able to get that done soonish. Alright, so let's have a look at my next set of drawers. In this top one, I have all our cutlery and all our sort of stirring utensils and spatulas and stuff. I keep some measuring spoons in there, just things that I use sort of in every sort of day-to-day stuff that I use quite often. And I have to say, I do love the fact that this is all right next to the dishwasher, because it just makes it so much easier when you are putting things away. Next drawer down, I have all our plates and bowls and normal dishes that we use for everyday wear. And again, so handy with the dishwasher right next to it, it can go straight in. Then down the bottom here, I have my graters. I have some bigger bowls, my glass bowls, strainers, drink bottles, bits and pieces that doesn't really fit too many other places. I also got some jugs, my measuring cups, my measuring spoons and stuff. And I also have my serving dishes as well underneath there that I use often for my videos. So you would have seen those a lot as well. And I love those little square small dishes. They're great for all my little spices and stuff. I can measure them all out before I start my videos. And then, of course, as I mentioned, right next to it is my dishwasher, and I love having my dishwasher in the kitchen with me. We had it in our laundry for years. This one is just out to remind me that I need to buy some more quick cook oats, because we'd run all out. In my window, I just keep a few little plants and stuff. There's a few things there that needs to be planted out, but I've got a little mint. I've got 2 orchids that aren't in bloom at the moment, and I got that little chrysanthemum for Mother's Day, and I need to go plant that out, so it's just in a random pot at the moment. In the corner over there, I keep my fruit and vegetables, and there's my sink. Oh, I love my sink. It is so beautiful. I can't stop staring at it, and I have to keep it clean. And underneath the sink, I have my recycling and our bin. So I have a nice big bin there for recycling, and it looks like that needs emptying. And we have our bin. I also keep a lot of the cleaning stuff under here, just so it's easily accessible. I have that little box there that's got some dishwasher tablets and brushes. I got my granite spray that I love using on my stone bench tops, as well as some other little bits and pieces that I like to use for cleaning that are nice and natural. And yep, there's my fruit bowl, and probably needs a bit more filling, and those bananas need to get peeled and put in the freezer for smoothies. But I do love it. It's nice and big. So, and there you can see as well, I've got some more bits and pieces that needs to be finished off, as well as just the edging just on the top of the splashback. My husband actually did a splashback, and he did such a good job of it. I'm really proud of him, because he's not a tiler. And these wood shelves, I love these so much. These are Australian black wood shelves, and we paid a fortune for them and had them custom made to fit our space. and I love them. They just finished off the walls so nicely. I still got a little bit of decorating to do, but we'll get there. And my oven. I love my oven. I know I've said that a lot with my kitchen, but I truly, truly love my kitchen. This oven is a 900, so it's nearly a meter, and we can fit so much in there at once. I love the fact that we have the electric oven and the gas cooktop. So best of both worlds, and we got 5 burners. So I haven't used them all at once, but I've got the space now. And this is the benefits of having your kitchen custom done. You can get these little contraptions. So this is where I keep a lot of the stuff that I cook with a lot, all the time. So I have my salt and my pepper in here, things like my oils, I'll find down the bottom as well. I got my apple cider vinegar, and I just love having all of this stuff here. Now this spice mix is my absolute favorite. We actually got it from Aldi a while back, and I love it. It's a Caribbean jerk spice, and it is so good, and it's packed a little bit of a punch as well, which is really nice on a good steak. Down the bottom here I got all my oils. So I got some olive oil, some avocado oil, I've got some balsamic vinegar, I've got some sesame oil, some almond oil, and I think that's an infused olive oil it is, and some other bits and pieces. I also have this Chinese cooking wine that I often use when I'm making things like chicken broth and chicken soups and stuff. Gives a really nice flavour. Then the next space over is this tall pantry. So we had only a small little space here, so we can only fit like a narrow cabinet. So in here I have a lot of the stuff that we use sort of frequently, things that needs to be changed over a lot. So I have things like breads and cereals are sitting in that one shelf in there, and I have some spare vitamins and stuff up in the basket that you can see up there. I've also hidden away the ice cream cones because my 3-year-old is obsessed with them at the moment, so I had to hide them away. And yeah, so I've got in there, I just put all our breads and everything away. I'd love a nice tin on the bench, but I haven't found one that I like just yet. And if I leave any of that out, my dog will eat it overnight, and she has done multiple times when we accidentally left them out. But yeah, I've got things like my granolas and things in there as well. Next one is where I put the few bits of sort of packet food that we use. So I have things like my pasta and things that are usually in the back there. I don't actually have a whole lot of pasta at the moment, so as you can see, there's only that one little pack there, plus my black bean spaghetti that I use sometimes as well. So let's just put that back again. So I actually use little baskets for a lot of my things. I just find it's just easier to be able to just remove a whole basket rather than sort of rummage through, and then everything seems to fall over and you're going to end up with a huge big mess in your pantry. I also got those little shelves that you can see just in the background on the left there as well. These ones here, they are my guilty pleasure. These are these little deep mixes that I get from Norway, so these are like home country stuff for me. And then I use, this is just my nutritional yeast that I use often instead of like Parmesan cheese and stuff on top of bits and pieces. Could be on top of pasta dishes or omelettes and stuff. In here I just keep things like powders that I can put in smoothies and stuff. So I got spirulinas, like a beetroot powder, acai powder, this sort of things. They make your smoothies really colourful, and also add some extra nutrition as well. So that's just a few of the bits and pieces I've got here. But yeah, as I was saying, that shelf I've got there in the background there, it just helps because you can store things underneath it and you can store things on top. So if you have a slightly taller shelf and you're not using all the space, they're a great way to increase the function of your pantries. I actually got those at IKEA, and they have them in a few different sizes and stuff as well, so that's a good one to check out. So you'll see I have them in a few of the shelves. In here I keep in the back there, I do have a protein powder and a BCAA powder as well in the back there. I sometimes use those in my smoothies. I keep my rice at the back there. I don't use rice a whole lot often, but some sushi rice and stuff on hand. My kids love sushi, so I keep them as well. I've got some coconut oil. I've got some raw honey. I love this brand. It's an organic brand, and yeah, it's a good one. So I got my ghee. I've got another coconut oil, and I've got some natural peanut butter down there. And yes, it's things that I use a lot again for when I cook in my oven as well. So those sort of fats and stuff, it's good to cook with, and they just wouldn't fit in that little pull-out drawer that I had because they were just a little bit too wide for that. Alright, so down the bottom shelf here is where I keep a lot of like our canned goods and like the more long life stuff. So I've got some canned coconut cream, organic coconut cream in the back there. I use that often for soups or curries and stuff like that I make, because I do make a lot of that from scratch. In the back there's also some almond milk that you can barely see. I've got some chickpeas, not dried, canned chickpeas. I've got some coconut water, some sweet chili sauce, and some diced and whole peeled tomatoes, because I use often that as bases for things like pasta sauces and stuff like that I make from scratch. And that was that little cupboard. Up the top here I have my cookbooks. It is really tall, high to get up there. I am not very tall, I'm quite a shorty, so I'm not going to go in there. I've also showed you my fridge before in one of my Costco videos, so I'm not going to bother with that again. So this is my island. So I got my Thermomix on top, and this is actually where I do all of my cooking videos for you guys. I actually usually do all my cooking videos without any lights on in the ceiling, because they get a lot of shadows and stuff, but I get a lot of nice light. Down here is where I keep all of my spices. I seriously love spices. I can't get enough of them. There are so many beautiful ones, and I just love experimenting and testing out different ones. So I'm quite an intuitive cook, so I like having a lot of stuff on hand just to try different flavors and different recipes. And it also allows me to make a whole lot of stuff from scratch. Then the next one down is, we're starting to get towards all my baking stuff. In here I have some bits and pieces. I've got some different flours. I got my vanilla paste, some seeds, things that I often use in a lot of recipes. There is my coconut flakes in there, and I think that's baking powder, and I've also got my coconut flour in that big box over there as well. And if I was going to lift up everything, we were going to be here probably until tomorrow, so let's finish up with that one. The next one down is where I keep all of my bigger stuff. So this is my sort of my deepest drawers. So I have a few big tubs here of flour. So this is my baker's flour for my breads and my rolls, and then I have my plain flour for cakes and stuff in there. I have all of these like seed and grain mixes for if I do seeded mixed multigrain loaves. I have my erythritol. I also have normal white sugar in there, because as I mentioned before, my kids and my husband, I don't force them to be keto. And I've got my quinoa, I've got my hemp seeds, my chia seeds, I got my nuts and all of that in here, some pecans, some walnuts, lots of bits and pieces. I've got some dried beans in there. Occasionally I will make things like baked beans from scratch. I don't do that very often, but I have it if I need it. In the middle of the island is my microwave, and yeah, it's just a handy spot to put it. And underneath here I have another one of my baking drawers. I have a lot of baking stuff, you will see. So I have some tapioca flour, some desiccated coconuts, I've got dark chocolate chips. I think I got some dates, chopped up dates in that big one over there. Yeah, trying to remember what I got in all of these. Different sort of flowers and stuff like that as well. I keep in these little pots. Some empty ones that still need to be filled up. And yeah, I've got some nuts. I also got some coconut sugar in there. And I think there's also some raw sugar somewhere in here as well. I also use a lot of whole spices. You'll find you get so much better flavor if you grind your spices from whole instead of buying them. So yeah, I have lots of cinnamon quills. I also, down under here, I've got one of my favorite spices, and that is star anise. I love putting star anise in my broths, and I'll try to remember to link above. I'll link one of the my broth videos that use star anise. Alright, so we are onto our last set of drawers. So this top one here is just where I have like miscellaneous stuff. There are some table runners, there are some cleaning wipes, and just some bits and pieces. I'm sure we all have one of those drawers in our house. In here is where I keep a whole lot of my cake decorating stuff. I obviously used to do this a whole lot more before, so I've got a lot of stash. In this one, I keep like all of my cupcake gear. I've got in here in the middle, I've got all my colors, liquid colors and some flavors. In there, I keep all of my things like sprinkles. I've got this little embosser that you can put on the side like of cakes and stuff to make this little diamond pattern. Some gelatin. There's lots of bits and pieces in here. Some of it I use a lot, some of it I don't use very often, but they are handy to have when I do need them. I love using pearls on my cakes. I should seriously show you some of my cakes one day. Well, I'm running off on a tangent here. But yeah, I've got some cookie cutters. I've got some little stencils that you can make like pretty patterns on top of cakes or whatever you want. Some more cookie cutters down the bottom there. Those are from IKEA, and I use them from gingerbread and stuff. So I've got my silicone mat there. I've used that a few times in a few videos, and it's so handy to have. I think you can find them in most kitchen supply stores. I've got some powdered sugar for things like icings and stuff, some egg white mix, and yeah, that's pretty much my cake decorating drawer. And we've got more baking stuff. Shock horror. You can see a lot of Costco stuff in here. I got flaxseed, I've got my almond meal, I've got things like dates, cacao powder, I've got cacao butter in there as well to make chocolate, some bits and pieces. I've got some coffee, just because that one was too big to fit in my coffee drawer. Potato flakes. Did you know actually you can use potato flakes as a thickener? If you're gluten-free and you want to thicken up sauces or stews or anything like that, use potato flakes. They are awesome. I also have some xylitol. I don't use that a whole lot often. I tend to use erythritol more, but I've got it anyway. And I've got some dried chickpeas, because sometimes I like to soak and cook my own. I also got some buckwheat. I'm not sure if this is focusing for you, but we'll try. But anyway, buckwheat is a handy little grain, pseudo grain really, to have. And I also got, I think this is barley actually. I haven't used that for a while, but I probably should use it and make some stuff with it soon. Use it up. And well, that is my kitchen. I hope you have enjoyed my little tour. Oh, hang on a second. No, there was another cupboard. I forgot about this one. This is my actual tea and a little bit of coffee cupboard, and all my mixed matched cups that don't go on display because they don't match. And I like my display cupboard to look pretty. It's one of my little things that are going to be on show. Has to be pretty. My husband just shakes his head at me. But there we go. Now we're at the end, and that was my kitchen. I hope you have enjoyed this little tour with me. and that you got inspired to get into your kitchen and cook. I sure am more inspired to cook now that I have my nice big kitchen and I get to make lots of fancy recipes for you guys. So I hope you all are having a great rest of the day. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you again next time.